So all good writers know that you've got to give context and place when you're writing a novel, and I suppose that's the same thing with my video blog. So we're going to start here in Adams Morgan, one of my favorite bookstores in Washington DC. Lost City Books. It's got a pretty good science fiction section, which is what I'm interested in, and we're going to have a look at it. The science fiction section is up the stairs and then right at the back of the store, and it's a pretty good selection, I must say. There's a lot of books to look through, and obviously it's a lot of American stuff because it's an American store, but you can find the occasional Penguin in here or Pan, which are real treasures, and of course they don't really understand the price of those ones, so you can pick them up for almost nothing sometimes. But I'm going to have a look through and see what we can find. I've already seen something downstairs that I like the look of, which is this wonderful copy. It's a Signet. Yeah, it's a Signet copy of The Island of Dr. Moreau, which I need to review because I've read it a bunch of times now. And this one, I love that cover. Okay, well, let's have a look and see what else we can find. A Far Sunset by Edmund Cooper. I need to review Edmund Cooper and some of his books. This is a great one by him. If you come across it, I recommend reading it. I will at some point review this and a whole bunch of his other ones as well. This, I just love that cover. Isn't that just brilliant? Oh man, that's another terrific cover. I really love the artwork on that. Here's a book I would recommend, Fifth Planet by Fred Hoyle and Jeffrey Hoyle. Of the books by Fred Hoyle and Jeffrey Hoyle that I've read, this is by far the best, and I thoroughly recommend it, and I should do a review of it. This is not a particularly great edition. There's much nicer ones than this you can find. There's something about old-fashioned titles. The Devolutionist and the Emancipatrix. That would be one for Pulp Mortem. The Lord of Death and the Queen of Life. And look at that cover. They have a whole bunch of fantasy and science fiction magazines here, and I'm sorely tempted to buy this one. I'm sure it's not all of the novel, it's only part of it, but there you go. That's where, I presume, Glory Road first appeared, and that's not a bad cover actually. I kind of like that a lot. Janet Asimov. Do you suppose she's related? Analog had much better covers, I must say, than fantasy and science fiction, at least in the collection they've got here in the bookstore. Huh. I mean, look at that. I think this one wins the prize for the all-time awful cover of today. That's another one for Pulp Mortem. Night of the Big Heat. It could apply to many different things, couldn't it? Not just science fiction. I found a copy of The Writers of the Future. I need to talk about this at some point, but I don't want to have to do it here. Anyway, there you go. I presume that the artist who won painted that cover, and that's not a bad cover at all. I like it a lot. Dayworld Rebel. I DNF'd Dayworld, which is the previous volume of this series, for being absolutely awful, and I can only imagine that this is probably equally bad. Not a touch on his Riverworld series at all. Here's The Pool of Fire, which I think is the third in the Tripod series by John Christopher. I have already got a copy of this, although not one in quite such good condition. They're only charging $4 for this. I might get it. I need to review the series again, having read it and it being so instrumental in my own particular science fiction adventure. They have a bunch of ace doubles, and this one includes a novel by Brian Aldiss, which I've never heard of, Vanguard from Alpha. It must have a different name in the UK. What's on the back? I can't quite tell what that is, but I do like the cover. I really want to get one of these doubles just because I've never actually read one. Maybe that one. Or maybe this double, because I really love this artist. If you go to my website, you can see I've got a little thumbnail about his life and some of his art. And I'm just tempted to get it for that reason alone. And on the other side has another terrific cover, So I think this might be my purchase, even though it's probably disaster in terms of actual stories. This one probably wins the title of the day, I think, for today. The Space Willies. You can't keep an Earthman down. Oh yeah, it's got to be, I mean, it's got to be the joke, hasn't it? I think, really. Eric Frank Russell, I'm pretty sure he was British, so he would have known what willies would have referred to. I think it's the same in America, isn't it? What a willy is. And you can't keep them down, apparently. Two of the magazines I definitely want to get are the ones that feature Christopher Priest, as I'm on a bit of a Christopher Priest binge at the moment. That one, and Palely Loitering by Christopher Priest. I don't think I've read any of his short stories, so I'll give these a try and see if they're any good. Okay, I think that's it for today.